Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name is Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all you Leos out there. For Leos, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising, this is a general reading and it's not going to resonate with everybody because it's a general reading. That's basically what it's saying, is that it's not going to be for all of you Leos out there. But hopefully it will be for some of you. So I'm going to get straight into the reading. And I will do all the rest of the subscribing and things at the end of this reading. So at the heart of your reading, Leo, we have fire energy with the King of Wands here. And this to me is saying that this is kind of your energy. Being fire, creativity, passion. I get a feeling of kind of a need to explore your own identity as well somehow with this card here at the moment. With at the heart of your reading, it is very much you at the very centre of kind of you discovering who you are. That's what I'm feeling here. The card does kind of represent the Aries energy, which can be quite kind of ruled by Mars, very dynamic, very active, very not just passionate, but it can also be quite kind of impulsive, spontaneous. So that could also be an aspect of what's happening at the moment. But I get this feeling of maybe restlessness as well. A feeling of restlessness, a feeling of you wanting to discover more. But underneath you, I'm going to pick this card up now because this is a bridging card between what is kind of your subconscious card, which is this card here. And my readings have become a lot more complex, so I'm kind of just going with the flow of them rather than having a set kind of way of doing the reading like I did have when I first started my readings. You have the Queen of Wands and she's reversed. I get the feeling that this is possibly about your own energy again. As in the two sides of the same coin. But this is in reverse, so this kind of is easier for you to accept than this energy here. Queen of Wands is very much about visionary. She's a visionary, as in she sees beyond what is to what could be. So she has, again, this creative rod here, but because it's in reverse, it's saying to me that something creative here hasn't been allowed to manifest, because that's very much what she is about. She's about this manifesting energy, the vision beyond what you can see, beyond the reality of what is, into what you can see. So at the moment, these two aren't balanced within you. This energy here isn't balanced within you. This could also be about somebody, Leo, in your life that you may feel isn't isn't responding, shall we say, in the way that you expect them to. Almost like there's something, they're going against something that you would have expected them to, how you expected them to be, and now something else is showing itself. And it is, I feel as though it's making you quite restless and you're not quite sure Because at the subconscious level of this, you have the Four of Wands, which is the challenge card to me. Being a 4, it's quite a solid foundation. It's got a good solid foundation. If you think of a square or a rectangle, they're very kind of solid kind of shapes, and they have that kind of boundary and that solidness about them. And that's kind of what it represents to me. But there is a challenge here, or there has been a challenge here. This is what's in your subconscious. So actually you might not even be aware of this challenge, or that this has been a challenge to you, for you. And maybe you're not aware that you're kind of having to work with this side of your own energy as well. And maybe even that you projected it onto somebody else, expecting them to fulfill that for you, but they didn't. It kind of backfired somehow. Almost like you were supposed to do it for you, not expect somebody else to do it for you. The boat for me represents life. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that by now. It kind of always represents life to me. So this boat has come in as your kind of adventure and your challenge and I get the feeling that you kind of feel that that's what's happening. I think that's what this restlessness is about. You kind of know that something is coming in here, although it hasn't arrived yet. It's on its way. You kind of know there's something coming. You kind of know that there's something calling you, and you're kind of preparing yourself for it. These people here kind of represent people that you will need to have on your journeys, or symbolically represent these kind of qualities within yourself as well that you will need to be able to call on for your journey ahead. So you are, I get the feeling, preparing yourself, but you're restless. There's a restlessness here. There's a kind of itchy feet feeling. You want to get moving. Maybe even away from this energy here. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens as the reading unfolds. So we have another card over the top of the Four of Wands. We have the Eight of Fire, which is also the Eight of Wands. And this to me is saying in some way that this is kind of, the 8 is always about kind of movement in the right direction. If you see here, she's kind of holding up this fan half over her face, so she's kind of half showing herself and half not. So it's almost like you're kind of not giving all the details out about what you're planning, maybe. But these fireflies here, to me, are kind of saying that it's a bit like a trailblazer. That you're going to be blazing some kind of new trail along the way. Maybe it's just new for you, maybe it's new, maybe it's just a new experience for you. But there's also this little butterfly here in the corner, and butterflies represent transformation. They represent change. They represent going from the caterpillar kind of crawling along the floor into the chrysalis, into the kind of, you know, the full flying butterfly. It's found its wings, found its freedom in that sense. And maybe that's what you're needing. Maybe that's what this card is saying here. This restlessness is the fact that you need this freedom at the moment. because it came out with, this card here came out with a whole load of other cards, which I will get into. So the first card came out reversed, the Page of Wands, creative fire energy again, but because it's a young energy, because it's a page, it's an immature energy, this rod is yet to be sparked up. But he too is leaving a situation. He too is not happy. But because it's reversed, I get the feeling that this is taking some time to happen. But he's leaving something. He's walking away from something. He's taking this rod here and he's walking away from a situation in his life. So that is what this represents to me, Leo. And for you, being fire energy, I think this very much represents that kind of creative urge within you. That you're feeling quite stagnated at the moment. You're feeling like on a deeper level, there's this feeling of like not a lot happening in your life maybe. That you don't have the fire and the passion at the moment that you really want. And the card that came out after this card, the Four of Swords reversed, is also kind of saying the same thing to me. That you're feeling as though you're being forced to wait. Because this card is about not taking any action. This card is about staying still. If it was up this way, I would say that it is kind of more about meditating and being kind of reflective and kind of knowing what you're doing. But here I get the feeling that this is more a sense of you don't know why this is happening. You just know on a deeper level that this is what is happening. That you're being asked not to go anywhere. You're being asked to kind of take time out before the next kind of boat comes in, because it is coming, but you want it now. It's almost like it's not quick enough. Why is it not here yet? Why hasn't it happened? Why am I not being able to move away from this situation now? Why am I not being able to change it? Why am I not being able to do what I want to do? Go where I want to go? Why have I not got that freedom? And you also have the Four again here. So that's 3 fours that you have in this reading, which are all about kind of foundation and stability. So I think that that's what this is saying, is that you need to build that foundation and that stability first before you can move on. Also that there may be something that you're kind of trying to run away from, that you may not be able to run away from, that you need to deal with this situation first, which could have something to do with this Queen of Wands here. Again, the gender isn't the issue, it's the energy of the card that makes the difference. But this card is upright. It just came out upright. So this is saying to me that the 3 of Cups, and they're all standing upright as well. Often these cards will be cups, sorry. I often call them cards. I don't know why they are cups. And I do know that. These cups are spilt on the ground, showing that something has kind of ended in a way. But this card is a cup. Sorry. This cup is being given to you on a divine level. And this cup appears later in your reading as well. But I will talk more about that at a later time. But it is the Ace of Cups here. That is kind of, if you see this hand here, is kind of coming out of the heavens and giving it to you, and all you have to do is kind of reach out and take it, but your eyes are shut It's like you've closed yourself off to the possibility that that could ever happen. Possibly because you have been hurt in the past, and I think that this kind of, the Three of Swords here often to me represents this Three of Swords energy in the Three of Swords card itself, because it's the next card on from the Three of Swords, being the fourth sword down here, and he's reaching for this fourth sword here, almost kind of as a defense for himself. And often I see this card as him kind of feeling like he's thrown himself on these swords when it's in reverse. And that energy, the energy of the Three of Swords, is still there. It is still there. There's still that feeling of the wounded heart. And the Three of Cups here and the One Cup here, again being the fourth. But he's not reaching for it. He's reaching for his sword instead to defend himself here. So I get the feeling that you're more in defensive mode, kind of fight or flight mode. Maybe that's what this card is saying. This is where that restlessness is coming from. Fight or flight. You're not really entertaining the idea of love at this moment in time. And these cards are all underneath these are all subconscious, but these are the deeper subconscious. So this is possibly what you haven't even taken the time to look at in a deeper way yourself yet. You may not even be really aware of this, because this is the subconscious realm where this card is. This card here is the subconscious realm. And then underneath this card, of course, you had this card come out, which is kind of, you know, again, movement away. Wanting to leave a situation. And then all these cards are coming out underneath this card as well. So there's a kind of deeper story to this that you may yourself, like I say, not have allowed it to rise up into your conscious awareness yet. And the card that came out after the Four of Cups is the Seven of Cups. And being the backstory to what's going on, I'd say that you have this feeling on a subconscious level that you've made a choice, and that choice was not what you were expecting. Being upside down, Seven of Cups. And it's kind of everything's falling out of the cups. They're all filled with kind of potential, shall we say. But especially when it's reversed, this card can feel like castles in the air. Like everything's just make-believe. It's all kind of fantasy world. That's what I get from this card, especially when it's upside down. I'll get it right one day. Round the right way. Card and cup. So, yeah, it's about kind of what it is that you are wanting from life. It's like you're being presented, or you have been presented with these potential situations, and you may feel that you made a choice, and that choice could well have not worked out for you, even though it is a king and a queen, and they are both the same energy. So there is an attraction here. There is something that they are very similar in energy. Maybe too similar in energy, in fact. Maybe that is the issue. Maybe they're both very powerful in their own right. Fire and fire. So maybe that is part of the problem. That this person couldn't fulfill your dreams for you. And the next card that came out, the Knight of Cups, is saying that you did offer that cup. There it is. The cup of love, you offered it. But it turned into a nightmare. This is the card that comes out after the Nine of Cups, after you've offered this cup here. Yeah, this card here. That he's holding up as well. It's like he's very proud of this cup. He's very proud of what he's offering. He feels that what he's offering is very worthwhile. He's got a lot to give. But the card, the Nine of Swords, is saying that it just all turned into this kind of sorrowful, really kind of head screwing, kind of nightmarish scenario of just kind of, because in this card is literally about, you know, card of nightmares, not being able to sleep at night. She's got her arms are wrapped around herself, like she's kind of having to protect herself through the night. Yeah, it is an owl. You've got an owl there, which is kind of the night creature. And the moon kind of casts shadows and things that can become scary, but it's all about the mind, really, because it's the swords. It's very much about what goes on in our minds and how our minds can play tricks on us and make things seem more larger than life in many ways, or worse than they actually are. It's all those scenarios of kind of negative, real negative thinking and not seeing any light in the situation. I'm just feeling those daggers, those swords are just going to keep falling on you. So all these cards here, I'll just hold them up for you so you can get a better view, Leo. All of these cards came out together with this card here and this card here. This is all the subconscious realm. Everything here is about the subconscious realm. So this is all on the deeper level of not yet quite understanding what's going on, but feeling it, sensing it, knowing it on a, as of yet, conscious level. It hasn't risen. But what is in your head and what you are aware of is the Moon card. And the Moon card is very much about all of this stuff, really. It is this real feeling of confusion. It's kind of saying that things are yet to be revealed, which I feel is all this stuff down here. That all of this is yet to rise up to the surface for you to be able to kind of make sense of. Because as of yet, you're not in that place. And I feel that you are in that fight or flight place. That's kind of energy that you're in. You want to just kind of run away from it. Although you're in your power, you're not reversed, so you're not feeling as though you can't cope with what's coming. If it was up this way, I would say that you were feeling kind of unable to deal with the situation. You really didn't want to face the situation, but I don't feel that that's quite the scenario here. It's almost like you've realised that you have to do something about this. But at the moment, what's in your head, like I said, and what you're aware of, the moon energy is very much about confusion. If you look here, it's kind of looking backwards, looking into the present and looking into the future and trying to make sense of what's happened, where it's, you know, why are you where you are now and what's coming into your future because of it. It's a card of trying to piece the pieces together and see a bigger picture. It's a card of being kept in the dark as well. Feeling as though you're not being given all the information, which is why you're trying to put the pieces together and not necessarily making sense. So that's why this is saying there is yet more to be revealed here. You don't have all the answers. You don't have everything that you need in order to be able to make a decision from a fully, what's the word I'm looking for here? From a fully, I'm trying to think of the right word. From a fully, from a place of, oh, this is difficult. A place of, I'm just going to say fully understanding. That's not what I was trying to find. That's not the word I was looking for. There's another word here that is eluding me at the moment. It might come to me later, but it's definitely eluding me at the moment. But not having all the information. And when you don't have all the information, you can't make again, can't think of that word, but the decision that you're making is being made from a place of you trying to make sense of something without having all the details. That's probably the best way I can put it at the moment. And two cards came out with the moon. I'm going to bring them in together. The first card that came out here actually is this card, and it's in reverse. In most tarot decks, this would be seen as the Lover's card. So it's the choice of who we choose to be our partner. And I really do like the kind of energy that comes with this card. For me, this is kind of saying that, you know, love is about safety, it's about security, it's about really being able to trust that other person in our life. Because this beautiful young woman here and this kind of older, maturer lion are kind of lying there asleep together as if they totally trust each other. She has totally put her trust in his love for her to be able to just lie there and know that he's not going to hurt her. But this is upside down, unfortunately. So to me, it is saying that there has been hurt here. That the trust and the bond that was here between these two has been broken. Something happened. The two kind of pillars in the background as well often represent that kind of like the 1111 and the kind of masculine, feminine, the divine masculine and feminine, the kind of soul energy of two the divine couple, if you like. But something has gone awry here. And the card that came out with this is the Seven of Fire, Seven of Wands. Again, normally this card is about you having to kind of stand your ground, which the unicorn, which is of course a mythical beast, is kind of, for me I see it as he is standing his ground, but he's standing his ground, and at the same time these like little fireflies are illuminating his way for him. So rather than being in the dark here, like with the moon, the sense of being in the dark, it's almost like you're getting little sparks of understanding. Like you're beginning to realize what was going on. Like I was saying, that this kind of energy is going to start rising up more into your awareness. And this kind of represents the little illuminations, like these little kind of moments, shall we say, where something will kind of like enter into your head and you'll kind of have a kind of revelation about it. Just small. Nothing kind of major and huge at the moment, but it is beginning to happen, and you are beginning to kind of put those pieces together, because the moon card is up the right way as well. So this is kind of the like jigsaw puzzle pieces, if you like, that you are kind of seeing, beginning to see the light a little bit more through the dark. And we'll just say as well that kind of love can be seen as a mythical thing too. It's actually, when they came out, the unicorn is kind of leaping towards this energy as well. So the unicorn could also be kind of saying, you know, that this doesn't have to just be a myth. But within love as well, there is this kind of magic, if you like, of its own. This magic that you have to kind of find within the actual energy of the relationship itself. That it almost takes on a life of its own. Like the two people come together and they kind of create something completely new. And that's kind of what I think this unicorn is saying here. As he's leaping towards this energy, it's almost like he's kind of bringing in this new magical understanding of maybe things weren't quite the way you thought they were. Or maybe there were, and maybe you can change that if you want to. So that's the energy for what's in your head and what you're aware of. What's moving away is the King of Pentacles, which says to me that you, Leo, or your partner, ex-partner, whichever, somebody who you have been in a relationship or has still are in a relationship with, but are trying to work through things maybe. This energy here is, to me, about somebody really kind of focusing on the physical realm, focusing on their, you know, they've been wounded and they've been hurt by this, so they need to focus on something else, and they've put that focus and that attention into the finances, their self-worth, the things that make them feel good. Building something up. Building up something that they can, because this is also kind of a safety. Or it can become like a safety. Like a feeling of having lost this, or having kind of offered this and it not being what it was expected to be, you've ended up in this kind of place here of kind of having to find something else to put your focus of attention on and to keep you grounded. Because Pentacles is very much about stability, foundation, grounding, solidness. And the card that came out over the top of this card, the Temperance card in reverse, is saying that the energy behind this, if you like, is this relationship again, because Temperance is all about relationship and it's reversed. So it's saying that there is a stagnation here. There is this kind of feeling, this isn't flowing any longer. If it's up this way, then there's this kind of energy of this flowing from the one cup down here, the silver cup and the gold cup, kind of representing the masculine and the feminine energies. And in a relationship, you know, things have to flow from one to the other in order for a relationship to exist. If there's no flow, there's no relationship. And so I feel that this king here kind of cut it off. It's been cut off. That relationship has been kind of put in the past, put on the back burner maybe. But it's not something, it's like he totally took his attention and his focus off of this. Totally. But what is moving in is the Ace of Cups. And so we saw the Ace of Cups earlier with the Knight of Cups card here of his offering, and also of course in the Four of Cups here it is being offered. So it's very much kind of within this reading, this energy, this love energy, is wanting to have this cup fulfilled, wanting to have it filled in order to be able to pass it and share it with somebody else. You have to fill this cup, and this energy is coming in. And it's a very big cup as well. I always think how big the cup is in this particular card. It is a very big, beautiful, detailed cup and a card in itself. Because this is Aphrodite. This is the goddess of love. Also Venus, who was born from the waves, from the emotions. She's born from the emotions, because when we fall in love, it's our emotions that take over. So this is what this card is saying. But there is also this card which came out with it, which is kind of causing a reflection, a nostalgia, a kind of looking back at the past and saying, well, this is the past really. These are all past relationships to me, situations that you've been in previously, and this cup is kind of the one that you're still, this cup, you're kind of still looking into. So there has been reflection here. Maybe this is the other person, Leo. This may not be yourself. This may be somebody else who is doing that reflection. It could also be yourself. And cross watchers, the energy can be either or. And then we have the Eight of Air, or the Eight of Swords after that. And usually this is about being trapped, or a feeling of being trapped in a situation that you can't get out of. Your mind is kind of holding you in a place of very negative thought that you can't break free from. It just kind of keeps cycling over and over, and you keep finding yourself in that same trap. But for me, this card, although it's upside down, it's about kind of shredding those kind of negative thoughts. It's kind of like releasing. She's releasing all these feathers. She's saying, I no longer need them. Although it's upside down and they're kind of coming back the way, I feel, she has kind of got to, or he, whichever, again, I mean, it's an angel. It's very much a female angel. I thought it was, but I thought I'd best check. The angel is... it has, you know, it's like you have reached this point in yourself where you're ready to release it. You're ready to let it go. And this could be all the kind of negative thoughts. Each of these feathers kind of represents the negative. Normally it would be swords. But it's like you've reached a point where it's kind of more... it's become lighter. Let's say the energy itself has become lighter rather than the heaviness. And while I was doing the reading, I was being told which deck to use, so that it's all very significant. It's significant in itself that this is this card and not another tarot card, which would depict the 8 as being trapped in the swords. So the cards themselves also make a difference. And again, we have the moon come out. And the moon is reversed this time. And it's coming out with this card here. And it's saying to me that this is about cycles. This is about allowing time, possibly allowing time to heal as well. Because you do have the star card that's come out as well. But you had 3 cards come out over the top of this moon energy. Again, it's about things being revealed, but I also get this feeling that it is to do with cycles of time. Everything has its right time. And this kind of restless energy that you have here of wanting it now. Don't want to wait. Fed up with waiting. Which is very Aryan kind of energy, which I think is where this kind of Aries rams on the throne come in as well. So as I was saying, I'm just sorry keeping an eye on that time because it's speeding past. You have these 3 cards that have come out over the top of this upside down moon card. And this again is kind of the energy behind it. So the Knight of Swords here is saying that there is going to be some quick movement. It is going to move fast. And it may move in the sense of kind of leaving something behind. It may be that when what is finally revealed isn't necessarily what you want to see, but it is going to be what you need to know. It may not be what you want to know. And there is a difference between what you want to know and what actually is what you need to know. And so there is going to be a quickening here. Something is going to speed up. Something is going to be suddenly fast action. And you have the 9 of Pentacles after that, which is saying that there will be a feeling of satisfaction here, because this is very much about your self-confidence. This is about you kind of feeling that you have achieved something worthwhile to achieve. This is about you feeling proud of who you are. Maybe also you offering something to somebody because you've had this achievement. This is what you have been focusing your attention on earlier. This is what's moving away. King of Pentacles. So the 9 of Pentacles could be saying that you now know that you have got, what you've got now is something solid. Something that you've built up over time. I think you've done it successfully. And this can be yourself, Leo. This could also be the person that you're have been in a relationship with, are in a relationship with, the person that you want to be in a relationship with. Again, cross watchers, the energy can be both ways. The card that came out with this card, the Five of Swords, to me this is saying, this is Apollo, and this is Apollo in his kind of smaller form, shall we say. He's more kind of this, he appears as the sun god because he is the sun god in the major arcana, but he's here in the minor arcana more as a kind of, he's pointing his finger and he's basically saying, you have to do this. You have no choice here. This is something you have to do. And if you see this character down here on the ground, he's kind of overwhelmed by it. The Five of Swords is choice. The Five of Swords is saying you can take up that choice or you can walk away from that choice. But either way, there will be consequences. You can't walk away from the consequences. You either do or you don't, but either way there are consequences. Because the Five of Swords, the choice that he makes here in the Five of Swords eventually leads to this energy here. And I'm not saying that it's going to be the same, but it has been in the past. And this could be something that the nostalgia card is here for as well, kind of saying, you know, the choices that you've made in the past. Remember the choices that you've made in the past. Don't kind of make that same mistake again. Because you have the Star card that's come out with this as well, which is upside down. But the Star card is about healing. It's also about hope. So it can also be about losing hope, maybe. Maybe feeling like you're back in the same situation. And that you need to work through things, because in the card of hope there's kind of this star at the very end of the line, if you like, and it's kind of saying don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Don't, you know, stop believing, but it's upside down. So to me it's kind of saying that you have kind of given up hope. It's almost like you've given your power away to this already because you don't think that there can be a better future. And the card that came out last, because I didn't want to leave it on that card, that energy, is the Emperor. And it came out upright. So it's saying to me that the Emperor is in his power here. The Emperor is making, because the Emperor makes decisions and everybody else follows them. Everybody else does what he says. Because he's the Emperor. That's how he gets to be the Emperor. So, or why he's the Emperor, because he can tell everybody else what to do. And when it's upright, it's saying that he is balanced in his views of what is right and what is wrong. And so it's saying that you are going to be able to call on this energy, Leo, which to me is quite a Leo energy in itself anyway. I kind of see Leo in its higher form as a very kind of Emperor energy. Because it is all about self-identity. It's all about kind of being in the spotlight, being centre stage, being a leader. Being somebody who's very sure of themselves. And so I think that that's what this card is saying to me, that you are going to find your power through this situation, through the choice that you're going to have to make here. Even though you may not feel like you're going to find your power, even though you may feel like there's this kind of everything is working against you, But ultimately, you will come out on top, Leo. Okay, so that is where I'm going to leave your reading. I am just going to say for any Leos, because this is a reading for Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising Leos, I will be putting a link in the description box down below for anybody who's interested in finding out more about their own astrology. And also, if you're interested in looking at any of the other videos, if your message isn't here, if it's not resonating with you, you may find it in one of my previous videos if you want to go and have a look at any of them, and also videos I will be putting out in the future. So could you please subscribe to my channel, like my videos up, and also tap that bell so that you can receive future videos. My email is also in the description box, which is down below. Anybody who would like a private personal reading and wants to go more in depth into their own story, then I would get back to you if you send me an email, and we can kind of discuss what it is that you're looking for. And I'd just like to say thank you to anybody and everybody who has subscribed to my channel so far. Thank you for returning. And also my PayPal link is up and running now, so if anybody would like to make a donation, that would be greatly received. And also you can pay for any readings through the PayPal link. So that's where I'm going to leave it all and say thank you very much and take care, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.